Hello and welcome to Rage Quit. My name is Jay, and today Games Workshop have revealed a lot more details about Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry. So, obviously we've had all the 6 warbands for the Chaos faction revealed, and now we're getting onto the nitty gritty. We've got a proper release date, we know when it's going up on pre-order, etc, etc. So yeah, there's a couple of really weird, interesting points in this, a couple of things I didn't expect, etc. So we'll just get on and look at the website. We'll go through them one by one. But one thing to know, it's coming out on the 3rd of August. Now, obviously, there were the videos that said July from Games Workshop, but that's obviously not materialised. And it sort of looks like not all 6 of the Chaos Warbands will be available at launch, which I thought they said they were, but whatevs, it's not necessarily a problem. And and we have got full clarification of what all the other factions are. And how you will get into them. So, spoiler alert, you need to buy a pack with the cards for your existing models. It's just the way it's going to have to work. By the way, if at the end of this video you like this video, do like and subscribe if you're really interested in this kind of stuff, as it really does help. So yeah, as I said, let's go through it. So it's going up in pre-order in 1 week's time. So that would be, when would that be? That will be the 20th of July. There is a 5-minute video that explains what Warcry is. They say it's basically a kill team for Age of Sigmar. Fine. We won't go through the whole thing there. You could probably go in and find some cool looking stuff, but we get a look at the tokens. There was a picture going around on Twitter of all this kind of stuff, but we get decent high quality images here, so you can see it's all going to be with cards, special dice and that kind of stuff. Really interesting to note for me. I mean, we mentioned it before, but the amount of terrain on this board I think is mentally high. There's so much stuff there that I'm just so intrigued. I'm gonna have to paint it all. It's gonna take me forever, but yeah, that is a lot of terrain. But yeah, so we know what it's gonna be. You're gonna have cards for various things, and we will talk a little bit more about what they are, because they do actually explain a couple of them. In the core set, you do get the 2 warbands, the Untamed Beasts and the Iron Golems, which these are the Iron Golems here, and these are the Untamed Beasts. And then they do come with their own set of beasts, I think. I think these are going to come with them. I think these will be the Iron Golems versions, and these will be the Untamed Beasts. They're a bit weird, I guess, but we had sort of seen indications of that before. Yeah, so they say the massive box set is huge. Probably going to be something like 80 quid, the classic Speed Freaks kind of price. But look at the amount of terrain in this. I just think is absolutely insanely high. That's crazy, right? There's just so much of it there as well. It's a bit cool with the I want to say the Sigmarines, but whatever they are, the sort of gothic-y style from Games Workshop for those guys. Just all these little barricades and stuff like that, very flavorful. Really cool looking stuff. The statue, really cool looking stuff. I did at one point, I wondered if that was printed on the board, but obviously no, it is actually 3D. They do talk about how the gameplay is going to be like. They sort of mention martial arts, all action, guns blazing. They say if it's like Age of Sigmar, it's going to be like turn 2 of Age of Sigmar. You're going to be leaping to and from buildings, that kind of stuff. So your agility or some sort of movement is going to be really important. And this terrain sort of going to very easily allow you to do that. With the different height levels, different bridges, all that kind of stuff, maybe jumping from one to another. All sounds really pretty damn interesting, not gonna lie. We've already seen the factions that you get in the core set. I'm personally leading towards the Iron Golems in the core set. I think they're possibly better than the Untamed Beasts. I'm talking visually on a personal level, but those guys are cool anyway, so it's not going to be a massive problem. And then there's a little extra picture of the kind of tokens you're going to get. Not 100% sure what these are. I'm not going to try and guess at the moment because I've literally no idea. I think that might be like a turn counter or something like that. Don't know. It's anything like Kill Team. There'll be actions to tell you what you've done and that kind of stuff. But these with the number on, maybe like a courage system perhaps. Maybe like a suppression mechanic, something like we've seen in Star Wars Legion. Maybe. Hard to say. These cards, these are quite cool. They don't necessarily tell me what each of these are, but yeah, I like the sort of 2 different kinds of cards. You get these that have all the attributes in them, and then you get these which will have the basic stats. Very cool design on these guys as well. I really like that. So I'm not going to sit here and analyze everything. We would be here for days, but you know, if this is, I've got off this, but if this is the stats, it sort of shows like maybe the weapon, maybe your like strength and your wounds and your courage, something like that, you know, what faction you are. Yeah, all right, I think that was pretty damn sweet. Now I don't know if they mentioned it here, but basically there's these battle cards, which I'm going to mention it here anyway because it mentions them in the video. These battle plans, so I forgot exactly how many they said there are. Let's say 40. There's quite a lot of like different deployments and objectives and that kind of stuff. And in the video they said there's literally like 30 million possible combinations because there's like 40. It's like a deck of playing cards, like has like trillions of possibilities in which the order that they could be, and it's the sort of same thing here. So you should get a reasonable amount of variety from just like, well, from, I say 40 cards, I don't know however many it was, I can't bother listening to the video just to find out. Yeah, so you'll get a rule book, of course. So I'm presuming, because of the way that this is, you can play other factions rather than the core set, I think they're going to sell the rule book separately. I think that sort of makes perfect sense, very much like Kill Team sells a rule book separately. And we will get onto how you actually will buy into this if you've got another faction. The Killing Grounds, it's all about the story. Like thematically, the game's sort of centered around campaigns. Apparently, there's a system where you play your campaign. It doesn't matter who you're playing. So let's say I go to a tournament. It wouldn't be a tournament. I go to my local store and I play Jimmy, and then I play Steve. And it turns out that I'm still in the same campaign, even though these two might never actually play each other and they don't care about it. You can still sort of do your campaign. Now, how you balance a campaign like that, I don't really know. You know, it's all about storytelling and stuff like that. But the thing here for me is the fact that they call this open play gets me a little bit excited that they will probably have matched play, which I think we already knew. But if they're centering a game around campaigns, maybe match play will just be left alone and we could be able to like have a decent-ish competitive game. But yeah, they talk about my open play. Obviously, I can't quite read all that text. I'm sure somebody on the internet will go through and possibly try and do it. But yeah, there's all different kinds of stuff. Now, it shows you what kind of warband like traits and stuff like that they'll have. These have got the names and the origins and all that kind of good stuff. Now, the warbands are really what really interests me, and this is what I was saying at the start. So from day one, you'll be able to expand Warcry with another warband outside of the starter set, the Cypher Lords. I thought we were getting all 6. Apparently that might not be the case. If I'm reading into that correctly, it's only the Cypher Lords that are going to be available. Now, it doesn't particularly say it's exclusive, but what I could very much see happening here is that maybe we'll get one of these each week. So like for 4 weeks or whatever it would be 3 weeks, you know, we'll get the initial release, we get the one band at the warband at the time, plus the other 2, and then the week after we'll get another, the week after we'll get another, the week after we'll get another, or maybe every other week, something like that. That set apparently contains the models plus rules for using them. So the rules aren't in the book like Kill Team. We don't think that's the case. The rules appear to come with your warbands, which I think is good because it means they can easily expand warbands without making you buy rules. So it's not like you're going to need to buy White Dwarf to get rules. The rules are going to come with your warband, very similar to sort of like X-Wing or Legion, that kind of stuff. And I think that is a great, they literally go into cards, as we saw before. Like, I think that's a great thing for them to do. I think that's a really good sales model, and you know, hopefully that's something we'll see continue across all the games potentially. So there's another like battle realm or whatever they call them. This one's the Ravage one, the Corpse Rack Mausoleum. All right, fair enough. It's just like all the gothic-y graveyard stuff, right? And then the warband cards, right? So this is another really interesting point for me, is that if you're going to be looking to add an army form, order, destruction, death, whatever, you'll need the warband cards, and you actually need these to play with these guys. You can't play without them because they're not going to have rules in the core book. So you need them. And these are your factions. I don't know if these are what we expected. I think Flesh Eater Courts might have not been the one we expected. I think maybe people thought some sort of death, but whatever, there we have. Stormcast, pretty much a given. Daughters of Cain, they're like your Witch Elves. Eisenef Deep Cain are like your Sea Elves. The Night Haunt, which ones are the Night Haunts? The Night Haunts are those ghosty dead ones, aren't they? Iron Jaws are your Orcs. Gloomspite, Gits are your goblins, legions of Nagash. I'm not actually sure about the legions of Nagash. I don't really know too much about that faction, so I'm not going to comment. Flesh Eaters we just spoke about a little bit, and Bone Splitters. What I find interesting is there's 3 sort of orc and goblins. There's 2 orcs and 1 goblin unit, which is quite funny out of the ones we've got, out of the 9 we've got, or whatever it is. Yeah, so these are the factions. So you need to buy, like, well, the funny thing is for these guys, it's literally like buying a deck of cards, like a pack of cards, and that's it. You won't get this probably on any extra faction. They'll probably, I suspect, use models that, like, new models. Like, if they do like a dwarf one, they'll probably do new dwarf ones rather than bring out a pack of cards for your dwarfs, because if they were going to do that, they probably already would have done that. So I suspect these will be the only ones available, and I think the rest of them will be new models. But it's literally a pack of cards that you need to have. Random point is that it says a single box of miniatures will usually be enough for enough fighters for a full 1,000 point warband roster. So generally looking at 5 guys being enough for 1,000 points. 1,000 points on a game that's like a skirmish game is an interesting number to pick, but you know, it's going to use a completely different point scheme, so it's not really the end of the world there. It just gives them a lot of like granularity to pick the point schemes. But yeah, we got all the factions. You see the little deck of cards. The deck of cards fill me with a weird amount of joy. I don't know, I just really like them. It gives me sort of like retro vibes. Buying like a deck of cards. Obviously, you will still need your old minis, so you know, it's not like you buy the cards and you can play. Oh, these are what I was talking about, the battle plan cards. There are literally millions of possible combinations, so that's pretty exciting. And then the rest of this stuff is actually just accessories you don't really need. So they've got like this rubberized Chaos Ruler and a Warhammer carry case, a Warcry carry case, which is very similar to the Kill Team one. Now, it's going up for pre-order on the 20th of July, and it's going to hit the shelves on the 3rd of August. Now, we were told, they did say July, but I let them off 3 days. It's not necessarily the end of the world. But yeah, so wait, as the Warcry revealed, the goons are incapable of creating glass bottles. Oh, this just fluff. I thought this was actually going to be useful stuff. It's just nonsense, but in a good way. So yeah, we're seeing more details. This is what we expected. The game's still 3 weeks out. I've been telling everybody it was coming out in July, and I do apologise, but that's what Games Workshop said at one point. It is in fact going to be the 3rd of July. There you have it. All in all, I mean, I'm very excited about it. I'm really tempted now that we've got like. I suspect I'm gonna scroll all the way down. I suspect if you buy like a core set of units, like if I buy some Iron Jaws, I'm almost certainly going to be able to use them if I buy that decks of cards. And I can't imagine the deck of cards being any more than like 10 quid, but you never know. So really, there is a temptation for me to very quickly paint up a Warcry warband without even knowing anything what's in it. But you know, mistakes have been made, and I think I might do it because I might do it. The sun is blazing, and apparently tomorrow they're going to come back and actually unbox the starter set, which, I mean, I'm not necessarily sure I need to see. Unless they're going to show us more rules information. I don't necessarily need to see it because I suspect that's everything that's in that. So we've learned quite a few things, and yet we still don't know a lot, if that makes sense. But what do you think about the sales model? I think that's going to be really interesting to see. It's coming out in August. Perhaps not having all 6 warbands at release. That's interesting. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And, you know, if you're interested in Warcry, make sure you subscribe to the channel. All in all, have a most beautiful day. And I'm probably going to get in the shower. I'm sweating. You needed to know that. Have a beautiful day. Goodbye.